Hello and welcome to another episode on Sports Chambers. Today we're talking to a former West Indies one-day international captain. He's been a staple in Trinidad and Tobago teams for close to 20 years, and he recently announced his retirement from List A. That's the 50-over format of the regional game. We're talking about Jason Mohammed, now 39 years old. This episode is brought to you in association with Fast Recovery Treatment Center. Civil servant heroes, this one is for you. This December, police officers, teachers, doctors, soldiers, and nurses enjoy free physiotherapy treatments all month long. From everyday muscle and joint pain to post-surgery discomfort, stroke recovery, and work-related injuries, visit Suite number 41, New Kingston Business Center, or call 876-531-7710 to make your appointment. Offer valid only for December 2025. Conditions apply. All right, Fast Recovery Treatment Center, they're having a special this holiday season on facials. Just 3,500 Jamaican dollars for you to get a complete facial. That's just about $22 US if you're coming from overseas and landing in the land of wood and water. All right, let's get into that conversation with Jason Mohammed then. Jason, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the retirement announcement from List A cricket, Jason. So that is just 50-over cricket at the regional level. It does not include first-class cricket. That's regional 4-day cricket. Can you explain that decision to us?
I mean, it's been obviously a long career for myself, 19 years representing the country. The 50-over format, I decided to walk away. I think it was time to walk away from the 50-over format. I think if I have an opportunity to prolong my career for Trinidad and Tobago, I'll prefer to do it in the 4-day format. So hence the reason why I decided to step away from 50-over cricket.
Why would you prefer to do it in the 4-day format, especially in an era where when individuals retire, they usually do it to prolong their careers in the shorter formats, the T20 cricket and to a lesser extent 50-over cricket?
Yeah, I think I like playing the 4-day format, to be honest. Obviously now I think my chances for playing for West Indies is almost out the window. I thought after the 4-day tournament this year I finally gotten that test cap, but unfortunately I could not. Yeah, so just some personal milestone for myself, and obviously Trinidad and Tobago has not won the 4-day title for about 22 or 23 years. So I would like to be part of that, or even try to help the team try to achieve that, firstly. And secondly, I'm at 17 first-class century, the most for the country. So my goal is to try to get to 20 next year, and that's my main goal in still playing first-class cricket, to be honest.
I hear you loud and clear. I still have to ask you, though, as you spoke about the brilliant season you had in 2025, that's the 4-day season where you scored close to 700 runs, averaged over 75, scored 4 centuries, including a double century in a fantastic season. And as you just pointed out, maybe a little bit disappointed that you did not get that test call up. This decision to continue in 4-day cricket, does it have anything, even a little, to do with maybe still having even a little bit of hope that you could suit up in the longest format for the West Indies?
To be honest, no, I don't think so. I don't think there's a slight hope because, I mean, after having a season as I just did, scoring close to 700 runs, averaging over 75, 3 centuries with a double century. I don't think if I can get in with those numbers, I don't think it will happen again, to be honest. I mean, there's always some slight or small hope, but after this season, I'm not getting in. I don't think there's any hope there, to be honest.
Yeah. After the season you had, by the way, did anybody reach out to you from the CWI fraternity, coaching staff, management team, general selection setup?
No, to be quite honest, no. I think I actually had was to reach out to the coach, Darren Sammy, because obviously I did a couple interviews during the season, even with the West Indies interviewing team. and I made it quite clear that I'm very interested in still in playing Test cricket. I mean, I think I'm the first guy in the Caribbean to score over 5,000 runs, over 15 centuries, and never played a single Test match, which was pretty disappointing to myself. So I really had hopes of still playing, with having a great season. No one reached out to me, to be honest. I had to call Darren Sammy and ask him, if I would be selected or not. And he made it clear that as much as I had an excellent season, because of my age, I'm not going to be selected. So it was very disappointed, to be honest, because I mean, if a guy is performing well, and not just this year, I mean, over the years, my performance has been very good. And I'm fit because all the fitness requirements, I more or less pass them or get to the mark that I need to get. So to just say that I'm not being selected because of age, I think was kind of tough. But at the end of the day, those are the guys who they say, so I had no choice but just go along with it.
Yeah. Did he go into details in terms of, because it's one thing to say age, right? But it is an issue that, okay, anyone that we bring into the setup right now, we at least want 4 or 5 years out of them. And maybe the feeling was they wouldn't be able to get that long out of you. 38 years old at the time, you're now 39 as of the 23rd of September. Did he go into any further details?
No, not at all. That was just the clear message to me just because of my age. He just said they're looking to rebuild or build a team. So like, with my age, obviously that wouldn't work. As much as I understand what he was saying, I think that this is why you have first class cricket. So if a guy is outstanding or performing, I see no reason why. I mean, you can pick a young guy and 1 or 2 series he doesn't perform. Where does he go? He has to go back to his territory. So that could have been the case with me. I could have been selected the same way, not perform, and I could have been back home after 2 series. Or if I have done well, maybe play for a year or 2 until it's time to say goodbye because of my age or not performing. So as much as the clear message is to rebuild, you can't rebuild a team with 14 or 15 guys. I do think that's going to work. And if we watch what is happening around the world, Australia, the #1 team in the world, they're also the oldest team in the world with guys 38, 39, 36, 37 playing. So, but as I said, those are the guys that makes the call. And as much as it was very difficult to take, I have no choice but to just go along with it.
Yeah, so you have no doubt, Jason, that at 38, 39 years old, and if you started a test career at that stage, that you could still be of significant value to West Indies cricket.
I wouldn't say significant because I don't know obviously what my performance would have been, but I think I could have added some sort of value because of my experience and how long I have played the game before the tournament. And as you can see, in the last couple of tournaments, our batting, or even for the last couple of years, our batting has not been doing well. So why not give me a shot? After performing so long, as I said, I'm guaranteed I'm the first and I'm gonna be the last to score over 5,000 runs and never play a test match because we see guys now coming in and they're scoring 100 runs, 200 runs, and they're given a chance to play international cricket. So I don't see the issue about age. That's just my personal opinion. A lot of people have their different opinion, but I don't see the difference.
When you look back at your entire career, Jason, holistically, how would you describe it? How would you rate it?
In terms of my list A and first class career, I think I've been very good, to be honest. Not perfect, but very good. Obviously, to be the leading run scorer in regional Super 50 history, obviously will represent how well I have performed. And my average will speak for that as well. I think my average is around 40, which is, I think, pretty good for us going around the Caribbean. Around the world, it might not seem so, but in the Caribbean, I think it's very good. And in terms of first class cricket, I have about 5,500 or just over 5,500 with an average of 32, 17 centuries. So I would describe it as a pretty good first class career. In terms of international, obviously, I had a taste to play ODI cricket. That didn't go as well I would have liked to be honest. So in a nutshell, I rated pretty good in terms of first class cricket.
Yeah, some would say that maybe you underachieved slightly given your obvious talent. Would you agree?
Yeah, to a certain extent, to be honest, yes, because I had a pretty ordinary season a couple of years. So maybe if I've done a little bit better in those seasons, obviously I would have achieved a little bit more. So with my numbers, yes, I would say so, to be honest. Although I said earlier on it was pretty good, but you can always be better, and I would agree with that point to some sort.
Yeah. I'm interested to know though, because so often we see sportsmen and women, and it's always very easy to say, well, you didn't perform the way that we expected, or you didn't do as much as we expected. But we rarely ever know the stories behind that. As you look back at your career, would you point to anything that you would say, well, maybe this was a deterrent, maybe this is the reason why I didn't stack up the numbers that maybe my potential suggested that I could have, maybe this is the reason at the West Indies level in one day international cricket, I didn't produce the consistency that many would have expected?
Um, in terms of international cricket, I think international cricket, I didn't had a run up until the last where I had a consistent amount of games. It was more like a stop start. I'll play 2 games, then I'll go back to regional. I have to score the most runs to get back to ODI cricket. Whereas if I think I had a consistent run, I think I would have been a little bit better. I'm not making that an excuse, but I think that's one of the main reasons. In terms of first class cricket and let's say cricket, I think the sort of maturity that I had from age 30 to now, if I had half that thinking or way of going about things, I would have done a lot better, to be honest. I started playing at 19, a pretty young age. So I think between that 19 to 23, yes, obviously I wanted to do very well and obviously played for West Indies, but I also think that those are the period that I could have done a lot better. Um, just thinking to myself, well, trying to go back to that stage, which was a long time ago. I think that, I always think that I was young and I had time on my hand. Not saying that I didn't want it to do well, but I think I didn't work as hard or as smart as I should have at that point in time. So because everyone's saying, yes, he is talented and you will play for West Indies one day, I think I sort of took that for a little bit for granted, seeing that I was young and didn't really put any work or didn't really um, put things in place in terms of the amount of practice and the way that I think I went about things, to be honest.
Yeah. And we saw quite an improvement in your performances when you got into your 30s. What would you put that down to?
Again, as I said, I think when I hit that 30 mark, with my experience that I gained from 19 to 30, I think us in the Caribbean, not just myself, we mature a little bit later than the rest of the world because of our structure and our whole way that we prepare and everything, whereas the world is obviously a bit ahead of us in terms of preparation and the facilities and stuff like that. So I think here we mature a little bit later in our career, to be honest. And I think that that is the main reason why I've done a lot better in my 30s than in my 20s. And I think that's something that we need to understand in the West Indies as well, that we think that once a player gets to 32, 33, oh, his time is gone, his time is done. But that's the time that we start maturing a lot more. So instead of putting us aside as players, I think the people who obviously go in charge of selecting this team needs to understand most of us in the Caribbean mature a little bit later than they would like to.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jason. It's a point that I have made over the years because if you look at our regional structure, and of course, in different years, the number of games have been different, but maybe on average 7 to 8 games per season. And if you start playing as a 20, 21-year-old, For example, for you to get to, let's say, 50 games, you would probably need somewhere between 6 to 8 seasons. And that is assuming that you are playing all the games in that particular season. And this is at the regional level. Whereas when you look at in places like Australia, India, England, they are playing significantly more games in one season. And so they get experience a lot quicker than our regional players, and they make certain improvements a lot quicker as well. So I certainly agree with you on that point, and it's a point that I have made over the years.